I'm Ellie from crystallinks.com. Today is Tuesday, July 11th, 2017, and in the vast array of topics people ask me to talk about, today I thought I would discuss intuition. We all seem to have a stronger reliance on and connection with our intuition in recent years, going into months, now going into days, where we start to trust our intuition more than we ever had before. It's the little voice in your head. It could be a deceased person that you feel is connecting with you. It could be a spirit guide. It could be your consciousness going into the grids. It could be anything that you feel guides your journey, particularly in those moments of panic where that little voice kicks in and the little voice says, okay, go here, go there, do this, do that. We've all got it. You've got the ability to listen to the little voice, whether you're doing it when you're meditating or any other out-of-body experience or dreaming. That includes dreaming. It's something that just says to you, take this direction or take that direction. Okay, now, if you're sound and clear of mind, then usually the direction is not altered by your emotions, and it's the right decision to make, because not all information that's given by intuition, quote unquote, is really correct, because humans tend to filter things. You know, you may be thinking, should I do this or should I not do this? People who are clear of focus know automatically what to do. Sometimes they hear it in their mind, sometimes they just know, yes, I'm supposed to go here, I'm supposed to do this. People who have emotional problems, abuse and substance abuse issues are the ones who have the most difficulty trusting their intuition, because so much has happened that has disappointed and hurt them in the past that they really are confused as to where to go and what to do. There's always trial and error also. I mean, it's a matter of, should I trust my intuition about going somewhere? And then you test the waters and you say, okay, I should be out there doing something, and then you see if it works to your advantage. We all, what I call, dialogue with the other side all the time. And as I said, there are many names for that, from your higher self. I mean, you know, it depends who you're asking about, where that information is coming from. And it's for you to decide what to do. And ego also, by the way, plays a large part. For example, I read a woman a few years back. She wrote a book, okay? She claims that her guidance, I don't remember who her guidance was, whether it was, I don't know, a spirit guide, whoever, came and told her that if she wrote this book and she invested to the point of making thousands of copies in hard copy, which is very expensive, that it would be greatly successful. And of course we do all of this to change humanity and help humanity and all the stuff. And then of course there's the money too. But anyway, so she went ahead and she published her book. And she did some radio on it. You know, we go the route of media when we publish, and she set up something on Amazon, and she did all the normal things people do when they think that which they've written is the end and most important thing that's ever been written. And she did all of that, and initially she sold some books. She went around and she, at her own expense, and she did some book signings. Okay, that was good. And she sold some more books, which usually didn't cover the cost of the book signing. And then that was it. It had its peak. Things have their peak, and then it just fizzled out. Now she had this whole garage of books. So she called me for a reading, and she said, why was I guided to do this? And do you think, Ellie, that the book will become a bestseller, as I was told? Will it become a screenplay, as I was told? And, you know, you can't go by that. I said, everybody who writes a book has some little intuition that tells them it's going to be successful. I did not see it being a screenplay at all. And most metaphysical books are not. I don't think hardly any of them are. And I did not see her selling any more books. I felt she had had her moment. She had done her marketing. She had sold her books. Intuition told her, her guides told her to do it, but it didn't happen. In the world of aliens and UFOs, I can't tell you how many, now they're called channelers, I've met who have told them this information and that information, and they've brought it to their classes and workshops and people who study with them, only to discover it was either a generic information, like, do this and this and we'll all go into love and light and all that nonsense, or the information just got redundant and boring and people were no longer interested in it. There are channelers out there who are still allegedly, through their intuition and their intuitive abilities, bringing information. It segues into prophets and prophecies and predictions and everything that you've ever heard about that mostly 99.9% did not happen because time is an illusion. So we go back to, who do you trust? Do you trust your intuition? Do you trust whoever you believe you're listening to? In my case, it has usually worked, but I find my life to be a little different than most. But in the case of the average person, you can trust your intuition when you realize you're not filtering it. You're not using your ego or your emotions to have you hear what you want to hear. For example, I can say this through clients, okay? A woman comes here. She was with John. They were engaged or married or living together, whatever. John decided to move on. Okay, let's do Mary and John. Now, John moved on. Whatever their karma was over, and he moved on. But her intuition said, no, stay, put up with this, put up with that. It was all bad. And one way or another, whether John left, she left, or whatever, it was going to end. Why was her intuition telling her, stay, it's going to work out? And that's right, you got it. What's happening here is she wants John in her life. Maybe she doesn't want to be alone. Maybe she loves John. Maybe, who knows what her emotional package is. But her emotions were telling her, stay. So having the ability to step back, okay, listen to your intuition, and then make a proper decision and judgment for whatever it is you're asking. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's easy, but it has to be done. If you go into metaphysics, people say things like frequency is raising, it's moving faster. Everything is moving faster, actually. It really is going faster, and because of that, we are becoming more intuitive, more tuned in. We meditate more, we do yoga, we do visualizations, whatever people want to do. And we, as a human species, as a race, are starting to become more intuitive. I believe that's all part of what I call the end times of this cycle of existence called humanity. Actually, it's the whole hologram that's evolving. Everything around you is evolving. It may look like it's getting worse, and that's because anything and everything and everybody is fighting for freedom right now. And so they may do things that they would normally not do, but it's all part of a process that is going on. It's been going on for decades, more so now. You see it more now. People are just burnt out and just learning to trust their emotions. If you are a person who relies on any kind of substance abuse to connect with your intuitive abilities, if that works for you, it's not for me to tell you to do it or not to do it. I've never done a drug in my life. I never drank. I may have sipped something, tried it, don't like the taste of alcohol. scared to death to ever do any kind of drug, and frankly don't even need it. So, but if you say, well, I try this hallucinogen, or I smoke weed every day, and that clears my thinking, and that works for me, whatever works for you. This is your trip and your journey, and you have to live it your way. Whether or not to trust your intuition, though, depends on where it takes you. If it's taking you into a bad place because your programming is as such that you're going to have this negative experience, if your intuition is guiding you there, then let it go. Don't follow it. Use your mind instead of your psychic abilities, whatever. Psychic abilities are not always of the most positive nature, and I'm not going to the occult stuff and all that kind of thing. I deal not at all with any of it. I think it's negative. It's too negative for me, so I've never even investigated it, and I have little to nothing on those I don't know, what do you call them, modalities, whatever you want to call them. They're just not part of who I am. If you want to be someone who is trusting their intuition, then try it and trust it and know where it's going to take you. But the most important thing you can do is be sure that your thinking is clear. It's called focusing, it's called mindfulness, it's called synchronicity, it's called by many different names. If your thinking is clear, your answer will come. And that's really all I can tell you about intuition. I mean, the information does come from none of what I mentioned. It comes from the consciousness grids that create our reality. You just take your consciousness and you sort of tune up, and you sort of kind of connect, and you listen. Don't dwell either. Never be a dweller. Don't overthink anything. Don't OCD on anything. Either the information comes quickly and clearly, or just let it go. On that note, I say thank you, and trust in whoever you want to trust in, whoever you're guided to, whoever you're programmed to, and wait and see what happens, because reality as we're observing it today, and we are observers and watchers, is unfolding very, very quickly. So go with that thought, and you decide if trusting whoever, whatever the grids, whatever is up there, if you feel you should do it, then do it, and if it doesn't work for you, don't go there. Thank you.